Reuters releases Wall Street Score's biggest weekly gain of the year. Please go ahead and check out this comment down here. So it says small caps had an even bigger week, better week, right? You'd have to go back to February 2021 to see a bigger weekly percentage gain for the Russell 2000. Of course, this means that we check out our ticker COSM, right? So please, let's go ahead and check out the difference between the M2K1, which is the in general, right, the Russell 2000 Index futures contracts versus the COSM asset on the 4-hour time frame. Of course, we're definitely getting some upside here. Okay, you guys, so let's go ahead and cover this chart. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by. Once again, this is ARCa. Let's go ahead and dive into ticker symbol COSM. And as you're looking at here on the bi-daily chart, we did have some bottom side targets to focus in because we suspected that there could be some type of fundamental reason that there could be a floor being found, right? That and all, of course, being the 1.618 at the golden ratio. Guys, I'm still in Glamis. I know the audio is not the best audio in the world, but we do what we can, right? And I am noticing here that I did have a resistance level here, a discretionary one, right? 124 to 128, which is actually the inverse golden pocket, 123 to 130. Now, what I wanted to do is see if I had any validity with the 123 to 126 target of the 0.618 to the 0.5 of the Fibonacci retracement sequence, and it looks like I do. So I used the current swing high to swing low, right? The last two prints of 2-day candle iteration closes, and magically speaking, check this out. So I am getting some correlation here. 122 at the 3.272 and 125 at the 3.618, given that that would be a continuation to the upside, right? So I want to focus in on another chart here, because we would have to identify an area of support. So the area of resistance that we had before was 108 to 111 with a focus of 110, right? So now with the new data that we have, we can go ahead and focus in on that. And the way we're going to do that is actually using the reversion variant, aka volatility bands, aka the Bollinger Bands, right? So we are, the basic way to use Bollinger Bands is that sometimes when you're critically expanded, you end up shorting the asset, right? Times when you're critically contracted, or just touching the bottom side of the bands, which is set by you, right? Standard is actually a 2 standard deviation away from the mean. In this case, I'm using a 3 standard deviation multiplier from the mean, which looks like, a pretty nice resistance, and it was pretty accurate, right? So this is why I'm using that. So now right away, I can see an area of support given by this very fact here, the bottom side of this gap, right? So you can see here that right at this point is where this wick is right here, and that is the first bounce that we got from this gap. So you can tell that the 4-hour time frame gap is being respected. Now beyond that, of course, we're gonna find another area where we can use for a potential bounce. I can't tell if this is going to be the final area to send price action to the upside, but what I can say is that very likely we can see a bounce from there. Okay, and if we do see a bounce from there, the first area of resistance would naturally be the opposing side of the gap, and then to our current 4-hour close, which is at about 112. Okay, but the reason why I mentioned this here is because in reality, the biggest support that I'm looking for, yes, is 109, but the reversion variant is telling us that 105 would be the mean. Okay, so if we're going to focus on the mean, let's go ahead and just jot that down there and take into consideration the 109, right? And of course, we're going to end up getting a focus zone here. Now, if I were to put a focus zone, where in the world would that be? Well, let's take a look at this. This is the 8-hour time frame COSM, and what you're viewing here are the moving averages. So you can see here that price action used the SMA 50 on an 8-hour chart as a resistance, and then price action is coming back down. Right, not only that, is that on an uptrend, this is also a shooting star, and this is usually a bearish formation or bearish candle, right, and indicates a potential drop in price. So if that's going to be the case, then it looks like we have a pretty nice support coming up right at about the EMA 21 down here, right, which is signaling 107. So for now, we can go ahead and now take a look at our overall support. 109 to the area of 105 from the reversion variant, and then the area of 107 from the EMA 21 on the 8-hour time frame. So this would be the support zone for us to look at for a potential bounce and continuation to the upside, if it is so that the asset wants that, right? So what I can tell is that there is, let's see, what I can tell is that we have a nice little uplift here on the RSI signal. We have that SMA 14 as a resistance. Sorry about that. Let's just go ahead and have it reconnect real quick. A little bit of spotty Wi-Fi, of course, but all good. Okay, yes, so we have that bit of resistance here on the SMA 14, but remember, mind your position of your RSI signal. So the reason I say this is because this is the gravitational zone where price action would essentially move onwards and upwards. In this case, that gravitational zone would have us exceed the upside of the SMA 14 and enter the next area for a potential resistance wherever we do feel like there may be one or not, right? So now what it looks like here in the bi-hourly is that we have a pretty nice the RSI signal is also within that gravitational zone, highly likely an upside continuation there. Not sure how I'm going to take this from the 4-hour time frame as it's suggesting a potential pullback. But if we are going to consider it there, then I guess we would have to, wow, am I just not going to get connected here to the 3-hour or the 6-hour? That is incredibly the coolest thing in the world. Let me see if I can move this little Wi-Fi thing out of the way and bring it closer to me here, see if we can get a closer read. Okay, well, it's okay, not a problem at all. So, I'm not sure how I feel about that bi-hourly time frame downside pivot, right? But from there, I guess we can use the 8-hour time frame here for a potential upside continuation. So if we do get that upside continuation on the 8-hour time frame, that means that we are cascading different time frames into each other for potential continuations to the upside. The one that I'm really focusing on right now are actually two of them. Are the daily time frame and the 3-day time frame, because they're both very, very bullish. Notice the RSI signal here, baby blue line, it's in the gravitational zone of the bear weakness percentile. This is highly likely going to continue on to the upside, and the 3-day time frame also has a pivot towards the upside, and it does look like it's within that resistance zone, within that gravitational zone 2. Okay, so it looks like everything is pivoted towards the upside, sure, but if there's any time frame that we're going to have to look at here for a potential resistance, it would actually be the 15-minute, the 10-minute, and the 5-minute. Okay, so we do have a shot to actually get this downside here. I'm not sure that it's going to come down all the way to 105, but it's very likely that we get this first, and then price action would then move onwards and upwards. And that's just what the RSI is basically saying here. Okay, team, so you know the targets, you know the resistances, the supports, and all those good levels. So now we just have to make sure to practice our due diligence, right, team? Please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be cool. But with that said, I wish you well. A very, very good rest to your weekend, and I will catch you at the bell on Monday. Adios, team.